Be honest, folks, does Warzone on your budget gaming PC look like it's running through a toaster? And the second that you hit record in OBS, your FPS falls off of a cliff? In this video, I'm going to prove that you don't need a £2,000 rig to get insane clarity and smooth recordings. I'm using an Acer Nitro N50 with just an RTX 3050 OEM GPU, one of the worst GPUs on the market, and an i5 13400F CPU, hardware that most people would call entry level at the very best. By the end of this video, though, your game is going to look sharper than it ever has. It's going to run smoother, and you'll be able to record it all at the same time. So let's break every "you need a high-end PC" myth right now. Okay, so just to be clear about the purpose of today's video, it's to help anyone who's running a 3050 or less, or potentially a higher grade GPU than a 3050, but at the very least a 3050. I chose this GPU because it is the absolute worst on the market. Anybody who has bought this integrated Acer 3050 OEM graphics card regrets it. But using some secret weapons that I've got at my disposal, I have managed to get Warzone to run on this 3050 impeccably. I'm running it at 1440. I'm running it at DLSS quality. It shouldn't be capable of doing this, but there are some secret tweaks that we can make to get the absolute best out of the lowest end hardware. So if you follow along with this guide today, then you should be able to achieve the same graphical quality, the same FPS, and be able to record your gameplay using OBS with no lag, no stutter, no major problems running Warzone, no issues with your GPU temps or anything else. There's a little bit of work to do, so let's jump right in and we'll start with NVIDIA Control Panel. Okay, so in NVIDIA Control Panel, you need to go to Adjust Image Settings with Preview, and you need to select Use the Advanced 3D Image Settings and take me there. Then you need to use these settings, which I'm going to run you through quickly. Feel free to pause the video and run it slower if you need to, but I'm going to whiz you through these settings, okay? So, global settings, image scaling off, ambient occlusion off, anisotropic filtering 16 times, anti-aliasing off, anti-aliasing gamma correction off, anti-aliasing mode application controlled, anti-aliasing transparency off, background application max frame rate off, CUDA GPUs all, CUDA system fallback policy, driver default, very importantly, DSR factors, make sure that you click 1.78 times DL and 2.25 times DL. This is one of the key components of how we're going to make your game look good. DSR smoothness 33%, low latency mode on, max frame rate off, multi-sampled AA off, OpenGL GDI compatibility auto, OpenGL rendering GPU auto select, power management mode, prefer maximum performance, preferred refresh rate highest available, shader cache size 100 gigabyte unless you do not have space, in which case change it to 10 gigabyte. Texture filtering on. Texture filtering negative LOD bias clamp. Texture filtering, high performance. Texture filtering trilinear optimization, on. Threaded optimization, on. Triple buffering, off. Vertical sync, use the 3D application setting. Virtual reality pre-rendered frames, 1. Virtual reality variable rate supersampling, adaptive. Vulkan OpenGL present method, auto. Once you're done there, the option to save will appear down the right hand side of your screen. So make sure that you save it. Okay. In resolution, make sure it's set to 1080. I'm assuming that if you're running such a budget graphics card, you're running 1080. So make sure you go to PC 1080 and then your highest refresh rate, which for me is 165. Use default color settings. For adjust desktop size and position, there's nothing to change here. It should look exactly the same. Okay. That's everything that we need to do on the desktop. Now we're going to look at our power settings. Okay, for power settings, you want to go to your apps. You want to go to your installed apps, and then one by one, for every app that you have in this list, you want to do the following. Click it until you come across one that has advanced options. Okay, for anything that has advanced options, change the let this app run in background to never. Okay, then once you're done, you go back and you go to the next one and you change it from power optimized, which is what it'll be on, to never. This will take you 5 or 10 minutes, but you do it for every app that you've got listed here. Okay, for some of them you can't switch it off, and that's absolutely fine, but for the ones that you can switch off, you switch it off, and I'll get you back here when you're done. Okay, so we are still looking at our power settings. In your start bar, type power, and you should see edit power plan. Click that, change turn off the display and put the computer to sleep to never, then change advanced power settings. You want to change this to high performance here, and then scroll down to PCI Express. Look for link state power management, change it to off. For processor power management, for minimum processor state, set it to 100, and for maximum processor state, set it to 100. Click OK. That's the next setting done, and we'll move on. Okay, so a couple more power settings now. Type start up apps and make sure that you do not have any apps starting when your PC starts. Okay, so anything that's switched on here, just make sure that's switched off. While you're here, go to gaming and then go to game bar and make sure it's switched off. Once you've done that, go to graphics, switch off optimization for window games, and then click advanced graphic settings underneath. And then for this particular GPU and CPU, switch off hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. While you're here, there's one final power setting to look at, which is Call of Duty. Make sure it's set to high performance. Okay, and once you're done with that, we will move on to the next step. Okay, so next we're going to install MSI Afterburner. Okay, you will find Afterburner here. Make sure you download it from the reputable MSI website and not from any other website. Once you've installed MSI Afterburner, open it. Once you've opened MSI Afterburner, there are some changes to make. What we're going to do here is, because the 3050 OEM graphic card is locked, it's set at a low level, and what we want to do is enable it to be slightly more powerful. Okay, so to do that, change your memory clock, which will be at 0 to plus 467, and change your temp limit, which will be 83 to 87. Make sure that your power limit is at 100, and then we're going to change your core clock using curve editor. You can see at the moment it is set to curve, and that's because I have changed the curve. So click curve and copy these settings. You want 700 on the lower graph to be just above 1100, and you want 950 to be just below 2000, and then you want to make sure that everything after 950 is right on the 2000 line. Now, it's going to take you a little bit of time to figure out how to replicate this graph, and I'm not going to show you here. What to do is use Copilot on Microsoft or Gemini on Google to explain to you how to use the control and shift and mouse buttons, but just replicate this graph. Okay, it's really easy once you learn how to do it, but if I show you how to do it, we're going to be here all day. So once you've replicated that, this is what your system will look like. So make sure it looks the same as this. Power limit 100, temp limit 87, memory clock plus 467, core clock should say curve, and the curve should be identical to this one. It doesn't need to be absolutely identical, guys. The key point that you need to remember is that the overall graph, which starts on the left, should start just above 1100. Then for this one here, 950, it should be just below 2000, and then the rest, everything after 950, should be set at 2000. What that's actually going to do is it's going to cool your GPU down, and it's going to allow it to run better. That's the easiest way for me to explain it to you. Okay, once you're done with that, we're now going to move to the in-game graphic settings. Okay, let's get to the interesting part now and make some changes to our graphic settings. You may find the first time that you come into Call of Duty, or when you restart the game after you've changed your graphic settings, that the screen is massively expanded. If that's the case, use your sensibility to navigate over to graphics, change it to windowed, and the screen size will reset, then change it back to full screen exclusive, and everything will be positioned again correctly on your screen. Okay, it's one little bug that I've had a couple of times when I restart the game. So we're going to change our graphics settings now, so let's go over to graphics, and these are the settings that you're going to want. Okay, firstly, you've got to run the game at full screen exclusive. Next, you're going to want your display monitor to be your monitor. You're going to want display adapter to be your graphics card. You're going to want screen refresh rate to be the highest possible refresh rate. For display resolution, this is a change that you need to make. For me, auto would be 1920 by 1080, but this is how we're going to get the game looking so good. We're going to run the game using DSR factors from NVIDIA Control Panel that we changed earlier to 2560 by 1440. So you need to change it to this 2560 by 1440. What that will do on your monitor is it will improve the graphic fidelity of the game. If this feels pointless to you, you're not running a 3050 card, because if you try and play this game at 1440 on a 3050 card, it is just impossible. It looks terrible. You'll get less than 50 frames. It's just absolutely hideous. The tricks that I've showed you so far fix the game so that you can do this. Okay, so 2560 by 1440. Make sure you click to restart your shaders, but do not restart your game. Make sure that NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency is set to on, not on and boost. On is what you need. Make sure your eco mode preset is set to custom, and make sure that your custom frame limit is set to unlimited, or set it to just above what your display monitor is capable of. For me, that's 165. Then you'll want your menu frame rate to be 120 and your out of focus frame rate to be 30. Apply that and save it. Go back into graphics and go to quality, and here are the settings that you need in quality. You want your graphic preset to be minimum. You want your render resolution to be 2560 by 1440. You want your NVIDIA DLSS upscaling to be set to quality and sharpness set to 90. You want to make sure that frame generation and variable rate shading is off, and then set the rest of the settings as follows: texture resolution very low, anisotropic low, depth of field off, detail quality low, particle resolution very low, bullet impacts off, persistent effects off, shader quality low, on-demand texture streaming minimal, local texture streaming low, in-game video quality low, shadow quality very low, screen space shadows off, occlusion off, screen space reflections off, static reflection quality low, terrain quality very low, volumetric quality low, deferred physics quality off, and weather grid volume quality off, and finally water quality off. Once you've saved that, go to view and set your field of view to 116, your weapon field of view to wide, your vehicle field of view to default, switch off world and weapon motion blur, and turn first and third person camera movement to least 50th. Save those settings, go back to display, click restart your shaders again, restart the game, and once you've done that, join me in a game. Okay folks, so that should be you. You should be all set now. The game should be looking amazing in comparison to what it's probably been looking like for you on your 3050 card historically. Your frames aren't going to be massive, but let me explain something to you that hopefully will make sense. The best thing you can do is use a 1080p 24-inch monitor. Use the settings that I've given you, and the game will look absolutely outstanding. Mine has a 165 hertz refresh rate. It's an Omen IPS 1080 24-inch monitor. It's about £100. It's a great investment. The game looks wonderful on it because 24-inch is the right size of monitor for playing at 1080. Do not play at 1080 on a 27 or 32-inch monitor because it's too big. You want to play on a 24-inch monitor. These settings will work on a 27-inch monitor, no problem, but for it to look the absolute best, it's on a 24-inch monitor with a high refresh rate. Then, even though you're not getting massive frames, what you are getting is clarity. The graphics look amazing. The gameplay is as smooth as butter. You will not have any stuttering or graphical challenges. And even though the frames will be 70 or 80, the game is going to look and run beautifully. Everything is running in sync, it's running in harmony, and you will not be able to get results like this by just switching your 3050 card to 1440. It will push the GPU temperature up, the CPU will bottleneck, it will not feed the frames, the game will look blurry. It's a disaster. It's taken me literally a week to fine tune these settings and get everything looking as good as it looks now. So I really hope this video has helped you. I know that the MSI Afterburner part is going to be a little bit tricky for you, but if you use Copilot to help you, then it will help you change the graph. But it would have taken me like an extra 5 minutes to explain it to you, and this video would then be like 30 minutes long, which is just insanity. But I hope everything else that I've given you is helpful, and I hope that now you can enjoy gaming, playing Warzone on your budget gaming PC. You can also use OBS to record. You should be able to find your settings for OBS, and you can record your gameplay on the same PC and play on it, and you will not have any issues. No stutter, no issues with the recording. It should all look perfect. So I really hope this has helped. If it has, feel free to drop a like on the video. If you've got any questions, ask them in the comments section and I'll be sure to help. Thanks. Take care. Bye bye.